Did you know that America's power grid is running out of juice? It sounds like something from a disaster movie, but it's a real problem that's quietly brewing, and almost nobody is talking about it. For decades, we've taken electricity for granted. Flip a switch and the lights come on. Simple, right? But behind that switch is a massive, aging system that's being pushed to its absolute limits. And the scariest part, the demand for electricity is about to explode in a way we haven't seen in a generation. So, what's causing this silent crisis? It's a perfect storm of factors. First, let's talk about data centers. Every time you stream a movie, post a photo, or use an AI app, you're plugging into a giant, power-hungry data center. These facilities are popping up everywhere, and they consume an insane amount of electricity. Think about it, a single data center campus can use as much power as a small city. And with the AI revolution just getting started, the demand from these centers is projected to triple in just the next few years. Tech giants are literally in a race to secure power, sometimes buying up entire power plants' future output. Then there's the green energy transition. We're all trying to do the right thing by switching to electric vehicles and electric heat pumps. It's great for the environment, but it puts a huge new strain on the grid. Charging millions of EVs, especially at the same time, requires a colossal amount of new power. Add to that the electrification of industries, with factories swapping fossil fuels for electricity to power their operations. We're essentially trying to plug our entire economy into an outlet that was designed 50 years ago. The problem is, while demand is skyrocketing, our ability to generate more power isn't keeping up. For years, electricity demand in the US was flat. It was predictable. Power companies could plan ahead, but now they're facing a tidal wave. Projections for electricity demand over the next 5 years have doubled. Utility planners who thought they had years to prepare are now scrambling. They're facing a future where they might not have enough power to go around. And here as the kicker, building new power plants and transmission lines is incredibly slow and difficult. I mean, painfully slow. Let's start with power generation. You can't just snap your fingers and have a new power plant. Natural gas plants, which are currently the quickest to build, still take years to get approved and constructed. And while we're retiring old coal plants for environmental reasons, we're not replacing that reliable 24/7 power fast enough. What about renewables like solar and wind? They're fantastic, and we're building them faster than ever. But they have a fundamental challenge. They're intermittent. The sun doesn't always shine, and the wind doesn't always blow. To rely on them, we need massive energy storage systems, like giant batteries, to save power for when it's dark or calm. We're making progress on battery technology, but we are nowhere near the scale needed to back up the entire grid. Nuclear power could be a game changer. It's clean, incredibly powerful, and runs 24/7. But in the US, building a new nuclear plant has become almost impossible. The regulatory hurdles, construction costs, and public perception challenges mean that projects take decades and billions of dollars. The last two reactors that came online in Georgia were years behind schedule and billions over budget. While new, smaller modular reactors show promise, they are still years away from widespread deployment, so we have a generation problem. But even if we could magically build a dozen new power plants tomorrow, we'd hit another wall, the transmission system. The high-voltage power lines that act as the highways of our electrical grid are old, congested, and completely inadequate for our future needs. Think of it like trying to run a city's entire internet traffic through an old dial-up modem. It just doesn't work. Getting a new transmission line approved and built can take more than a decade. It involves navigating a maze of federal, state, and local permits and often faces strong opposition from landowners and communities. Everyone wants reliable power, but nobody wants a giant power line running through their backyard. This not-in-my-backyard phenomenon, or NIMBYism, is one of the biggest roadblocks to modernizing our grid. This bottleneck is creating absurd situations. In many parts of the country, there are completed solar and wind farms just sitting there, unable to connect to the grid and send their clean energy to customers. The waiting list to connect new power projects is years long, with hundreds of gigawatts of clean energy stuck in what's called the interconnection queue. We have the power, but we can't get it to where it needs to go. So, what happens when demand outpaces supply? The consequences aren't just inconvenient. They can be dire. We're already seeing the warning signs. Rolling blackouts, which were once rare events associated with extreme weather, are becoming a more common tool for grid operators to prevent a total collapse. States like California and Texas have already experienced this. Businesses could be forced to halt operations. Imagine factories shutting down, not because of a lack of orders, but a lack of electricity. The economic impact would be staggering. Tech companies planning new data centers are already being told by utilities, "Sorry, we don't have the power for you." This could stifle innovation and send those investments and jobs to other countries that have their energy situation figured out. Our manufacturing renaissance, our transition to clean energy, our leadership in AI, all of it depends on having abundant, reliable, and affordable electricity. Without it, the whole system grinds to a halt. This isn't a partisan issue, it affects everyone. It's a fundamental issue of infrastructure and national competitiveness. So, what's the solution? There's no single silver bullet. It requires a massive, coordinated effort on multiple fronts. First, we need to build a lot. We need to streamline the permitting process for all types of energy infrastructure: natural gas plants for reliability, nuclear for clean baseload power, renewables for sustainability, and especially the transmission lines to connect them all. This might mean making some tough political choices and finding ways to fast-track critical projects. Second, we need to get smarter about how we use energy. This is where technology can be a huge help. Smart grids, smart thermostats, and smart appliances can help shift electricity demand away from peak hours. Your EV could be programmed to charge at night when demand is low, or even sell power back to the grid during the day when demand is high. This helps balance the system without having to build as many new power plants. Third, we need a major investment in innovation. This means pouring resources into next-generation nuclear reactors, long-duration energy storage, and even exploring technologies like geothermal and green hydrogen. We need to unleash the same spirit of innovation that created the AI boom and apply it to the energy sector. This problem has been ignored for too long because the lights are still on for now, but the warning lights are flashing red. This is a quiet crisis that will become very loud very quickly if we don't act. It's time to have a national conversation about how we're going to power our future. It's not as flashy as a new app, but it's infinitely more important. What do you think? Are you worried about the future of our power grid? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this video informative, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more deep dives into the topics that matter. Thanks for watching.